Good morning. Happy Monday. It is Monday, April 22nd. YouTube studio. What is going on? Now I'm live. Content. I gotta take some new pictures. What you doing? It's hip hop, Maya. Morning, Joe. What's up? What's up? Okay, I'm gonna open up these. I already did my scan, so I'm gonna get right into it. Tesla. Morning, Chris. By the way, for the early people, I bought a shit ton of Microsoft on Friday. Yes, I did. Instagram. Yep. We're going to put this X down here when we talk about okay, Catalyst Watch. We got that open. Then we're going to Verizon. Then
Sometimes I just want to rent a car and go, you know?
Sound. But I do want to get past the ad. Morning, Mohammed. Morning, Joshua. I don't know if we'll have kick-ass gains or not, but my hope is that we will. Everything points to yes. Let's ask the Magic 8 Ball. Everything points to S. This is a really good video. Support resistance and technical indicators. Morning, Mark. Ross just does. He's been doing a really good job lately of explaining things. This also, Peachy Investor, I think her name is, or what? I think she's here in Georgia, to be honest with you. Learn how to Peachy Investor. Yeah, she's good too. Let's see. There's a Zoom meeting. Let's see. Is there Alpha? There is a. I got an invite for a Zoom meeting. I don't care about that. But I don't know where to look it up here. I don't know if others got an invite. I don't know why I got an invite. Maybe I'm special, but Steve Kress is doing a what about the quant kind of stuff. I don't know if there's a quant thing here. Let's see. Market data. Don't know how to look it up. My analysts. Let's see if Steve has a Investing Experts podcast. If Steve posted it. No, it's Alpha Pix. No, I guess not. Okay, let me. Uh-oh. There are toys squeaking. I don't know why there are toys squeaking. But I hear toys squeaking. Okay, there we go. Why didn't I get that? Why did it? Hold on. Did I already do this? Bye boo. I didn't mean to kiss you all. That wasn't for you all. Okay, I'm going to get right into this. Hold on. What came? Oh, did a package come? Hold on one second. I'm going to put it on mute. Okay. Hey. Sorry. I don't know if I've ever said anything, but I get a shit ton of fucking groceries sent to my house that are not mine. There's a house around the corner that does this for some reason. The delivery folks, we've gotten free dinners out of it. We've gotten free sushi out of it because I'm never sure where it goes to. But this one had their stuff on it. Yeah, we'll highlight this. Trust me, Chris, it's not. It's more of an annoyance because we do feel the need. Even though, see, the problem is the people at this particular house, which, by the way, is $2 million house, huge house. It's got the same house number as mine, but it literally is the street next to me. And they just look for 1928 because I think the GPS kind of leads them into this area. So they just look for 1928. And then they don't believe that anybody in that neighborhood would order bougie groceries and Instacart and blah, blah, blah. The homes don't look as nice as my neighborhood, but it's literally maybe less than a quarter of a mile. Because it's almost, you can think of it as a U. You go out my road, down another little road, that's a dead end, and then down another little road that's a dead end, and it's over there. But why the people in that freaking house, and this is what pisses me off, don't say, hand it to me. Hand it to me. That's the little check mark. And I talked to I basically got free groceries one time, and I didn't know who they were for. And so it was 11 o'clock at night, and I found the groceries. I didn't know how long they were out there. So I put them in my refrigerator, and then about 11:30, somebody comes knocking on my freaking door. It was the Instacart lady saying she just got chewed out because they didn't get their groceries from like 3 hours ago. I had to repack everything from my refrigerator into the packages and then set it up. And this poor girl was, she was like, I'm so nervous knocking on your door. I was like, don't worry, we were up. It's not that big of a deal. But Whoa. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to start, I guess, here. Yeah, I got let me see. Zoom meeting. Okay. We're going to start out over here. I got a bunch of stuff for you. So we're going to record this podcast. By the way, I hate, and if anybody does this, you get blocked. You literally get blocked when people comment promo SM, and I get it tons of times on the YouTube videos that I do, promo SM, and I block them. I just block them. I think it's spam. I had no idea what it meant until like 2 days ago, and it means promo so much. F you. Leave me alone. F you. We got Netflix continuing down, Oxy continuing down, SMCI continuing down. I think if you buy SMCI under 700, I think you're okay. Tesla continuing down. UNH under 500 again. XOM. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Good morning. It is Monday, April 22nd, and Friday was just horrible. I mean, look at the heat map on here on FinViz. You can see it. It was just bad. I mean, there's enough green. Financials were up. Some of healthcare was up. Real estate was up. Utilities was up. We're continuing that trend. And so this weekend, what I did for the paid customers, I've been saying buy the dip. I wrote a newsletter about what buy the dip really means, and I just bought a six figures into a stock. We'll kind of go over that one as well. And I did an analysis of QQQ, and just so everybody knows, that's kind of the support level that I put in there at 407. If you want to know why it's at 407, subscribe to the newsletter, dailystockpick.substack.com. You can read about it right there. It's a paid newsletter, free 7-day trial. You can choose that one. But here's the cues. There's two other times where I said, hey, we saw a bounce. I don't know that we're going to see a bounce now. This is super, super weak. RSI's at 23. We're oversold. MACD is crossing down, but you go to the weekly, and I've been saying this a lot. You go to the weekly and you look at this, and we're only 7% below all-time highs. 7%. It feels horrible. This feels bad, but we're 7% below all-time highs. If you were here, okay, here during COVID, and all of a sudden the world started to shut down, boy, don't you wish you were only 7% down? Don't I wish I was only 7%? Don't I wish I was only 7% down? That was 30% right there. I lost 40% during those days. That's what led me to start the algorithm, to write the algorithm to make sure that doesn't happen. So we're 7% down. Yes, I personally have had quite a bit of capital lost, but we're 7% down from all-time highs. And it depends on which one you look at. If you go and look at SPY, it's the same kind of thing. You look at this and you look at the previous highs at 479 right there. We haven't even hit that. So the previous all-time highs back in December of I think 2022, that was or 2021, where we saw the highs, and it was down from there, and we've been making our way back. We finally crossed that level. We've pulled back. You're seeing the 200-day right there. This is on the 4-hour. Looks like we should get a bounce. Yeah, we should. But you look at the weekly, and it's just not having crossed up enough. And then you take a look at an ETF called RSP. And RSP is an equal-weighted ETF. If you don't know what that is, go to Investopedia.com and look up market weight versus equal weight. Or you can just look up equal weight. Market cap weight, whatever. But if you know what that is, take a look at RSP. RSP has actually shown that we're starting to see a turnaround. The others that are not equal weight are not showing the turnaround at all. They're still showing weakness. So RSP may be an indicator that we're broadening this rally and that we could come back with not the grade 8, but the other 492 companies. And that may be why you saw on Friday some of the healthcare, some of the financials, some of the consumer discretionary, some of these other companies, some of the energy, some of the utilities all come roaring back. That could be why you're seeing that. Now, I've been saying buy the dip. I did buy the dip. And I did it in a big way. We'll go over that. I do want to point out that for Seeking Alpha Premium members, I got invited to a meeting, a Zoom meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. And hopefully when you log into Seeking Alpha Premium, you get this as well. It's hosted by Steve Kress. I did an interview with Steve Kress. If you want to see it, go to my YouTube channel and find it on Spotify or Apple Podcast. He is the head of the quant system. And he's going over a University of Kentucky. Researchers focused on both the effectiveness of the quant ratings themselves and the influence of the underlying analysis had on social media research, and the results are intriguing. They did a complete analysis of it. I think it's interesting. I will listen to it. I know that they tape their stuff and they repost it. So take a look for it. Again, just log into Seeking Alpha. And if you don't know what the quant is, it's just a great, it's an algorithm that's based on fundamentals. And he goes over it in that interview that I did with him. And I think you can find great stocks. I will post the 4 screenshots that I have from my app. And you can see it right here, even here on the in the website. Top-rated dividend aristocrat champions, earnings calendar. You can see the upcoming earnings of the Daily Stock Pick core portfolio here on the right because that's what I follow. We've got Cleveland Cliffs today. We've got Pepsi tomorrow. We've got Tesla on tomorrow, post-market. That's a big one. We'll talk about Boeing. We've got it on 424. We've got Meta here on post-market for 424, which is Wednesday. We've got Google on 425. We've got Microsoft on 425. We've got Exxon and MPLX in the pre-market on 430th. And then we got Amazon on the 30th as well. We've got a lot going on. But again, you take a look at this analysis for you. Stock gainers, largest cap, latest strong buys, latest quant ratings from the consumer staples. We've got Procter & Gamble. We've got PepsiCo. We've got PepsiCo, by the way, is a alpha pick stock as well. The latest quant strong buys in the large cap, mid cap, and small cap in consumer the tech and communications. These are the leaders. Again, Okta. Alpha pick. I bought a bunch of Dell. Arista Networks. I've been saying that one's a great one. AppLovin. I've been saying that one's a great one. Again, these are the latest quant ratings. Latest quant, even in industrials. Uber, United Airlines, Delta, all breakouts. RTX, XPO. All of these have broken out. Latest analysis, strong buys from industrials, XPO. Recently viewed stocks and ETFs. You can see all of those. These are ones that I've looked at that you can see the quant rating on. The quant rating is fantastic. It does beat the S&P hold. So if you want anything of that, again, if you want the quant rating, it's part of Seeking Alpha Premium. And if you go to my link tree, which is down below, linktr.ee/daily stock pick, you can get 20% off of Seeking Alpha Premium. It's the second link. And if you don't use the quant, you'll see as I go over stuff in this podcast how good the quant is. And I post everything in my newsletter. Everything that you're listening to, all the notes that I'm looking at, it's all free in the newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter at dailystockpick.substack.com. Now, I did find a couple of great videos over the weekend. This is a great candlestick. And she goes over, this is Peachy Investor. I like her. She does options. I'm not a big options fan, you guys know, but she does a crash course on the anatomy of a candlestick, top 3 candlestick patterns, and how to use them in reversals, which is big. How to use them, we're on our way down. When is the reversal? I don't try and time it, but she gives some great advice on candlestick patterns and interpreting the psychology of buyers and sellers using candles. This is a great video. If you don't understand technical trading, learn it. There is so much free content out on YouTube. Do not pay for a course. There's just a couple of reasons why you would pay for a course. A, you want convenience. B, you need to really trust that person. Because somebody telling you that they're going to teach you about how to technically trade and then just tell you about moving averages, go to Investopedia. Go to YouTube. Try and find it. Peachy Investor, she's got some great content out there. Yes, this is 32 minutes. It is worth your time. 5-minute video on candlesticks is not going to teach you enough to trade on candlesticks. A 15-minute video on the MACD is not going to be enough for you to understand the MACD. A 5-minute video on an RSI strategy is not going to give you the secret sauce to actually trading on this stuff. It's all about the time that you put into this. And that's why I say, if you want tools that are good, I sell 2 of them specifically that I recommend. The first one is Seeking Alpha Premium. You can't beat this. For $189, it is a year. It is the best at just finding you a place to go and look at very verifiable fundamental data. And that quant, it is fantastic. It is for you to be able to look at stocks and understand them. And the second one is TrendSpider. And those are the charts that I use. And this is what I say. If you're going to go and learn charts, TrendSpider is charts on steroids. You can get a free charting program. In fact, I'm going to include in the newsletter Webull economic calendar and the earnings, U.S. companies on the calendar from this time. Webull is my preferred trading app. I love using the app to trade. I still am all cash in my Webull account. All cash in my Webull account. There's no reason for me to trade right now in my Webull account. I just don't know the direction of the market. I'm feeling very bearish right now, but I am bullish overall, and I will get back in. I'm just being patient. I don't think that we're going to see a face-ripping rally, and we'll go over this week because I think there's big earnings that are coming out, and we'll look at those. But I'll show you some of the charts too, but it's in TrendSpider. So those two tools are the ones that I use. Now, if we go back here and we look at the Qs, and why I say I'm patient, look at the Qs. You've got this green line is your 9-day EMA, and we have no confirmation right now of it turning positive. That means in the short term, we're negative. The 200-day is still moving positive, but the 50-day, which is your medium term, is moving negative. So I'm very careful in this market, but if you want to understand what these candlesticks mean, PG Investor has a great video. Another great video that I watched this weekend is from Ross Cameron. He's Warrior Trading. This guy is famous for taking, I think it's $10,000 to $10 million, and it's verified. He's got auditors. He's in the middle of a $1,000 trading challenge where he took, I think he said $8,000 in just a couple of months. Understand, he uses margin. I don't suggest that you use margin. His results are not typical. And what he does is he trades momentum. He trades very low float and penny stocks. And he gets them in the morning and he trades them based on candlesticks and patterns. This video, The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Candlestick Patterns, Support, Resistance, and Technical Indicators. He goes over everything that you need. It's 47 minutes. If you can't, you're listening to me for an hour each day. Say you listen to me for 20 minutes. Split it up and do a little bit more research. I give you great market news. I give you great things to trade on. These guys give you the actual instruction as to how to do that. I've tried to do it. And if you're interested in learning from me, there's an education portion right down here in my newsletter that you can sign up for. But Ross, if you learn from videos, this is a great, great video. So I've given you two golden gems. Let's go into some earnings. Verizon gains as Q1 earnings top estimates. We'll go back here. Now, again, their earnings were very good. That's the fundamental. Let's look at some of the technicals. Where is Verizon? Well, you're seeing it use that 200-day as support. Right now, it's trading at $40.49. The 200-day moving positive. That 50-day is moving still positive. Now, even in this market that is a downturn, you've got a MACD that's crossed up. You've got an RSI at 50 that has confirmation above the 9-day here, and they just posted good earnings. This is a stock you want to look at. Now, how do we look on the weekly? It looks like it's under the 200-day. The 50-day just started moving positive. Now, the 200-day is probably going to provide you some resistance. So where do you have to go to? Well, you've got 46 probably to go to. Now, long-term, I do not recommend this stock. This is a stock that I don't think long-term I would recommend. The reason is, if we go and we look at a monthly on this one, and I want to look out long-term, this is a capital-intensive business. And this is a business that is something of akin to AT&T. And if we look at like a 40-year history of AT&T, it hasn't made you money. This one hasn't made you money. This is just a horrible, horrible stock. If we go over here and we look at Verizon, I'm going to go and look at Verizon here in the quant. The quant has that as a hold. The reason is growth is D. And when you look at it, it's just, is it a buy after a 28% rally? Wall Street thinks it's a buy. Their average price target is 45. You're trading at 40 right now. But if we go and we look at the charting, and I just want to compare it, and we can select total return instead of price return, because I don't want to look at price return, because I want to look at total return, because these guys do give a great dividend. And so we go over here and we look at the 10-year. Look at 10 years. Verizon is only giving you 44%. Just VOO or SPY, it's giving you 166%. We look at the dividend, though, And you can see the forward dividend is 6.57. They have an ex-dividend date of 4/9. So they haven't declared another dividend yet, but it's quarterly dividend. So do I think you could sit in this one and get maybe another 10% if the market turns around? These are guys that will they will benefit, or I'm sorry, they won't benefit from higher for longer, but they won't also be killed because they have good cash flow. And that's what those earnings said. The cash flow is good. Read this article. Again, you want to make sure that you understand the fundamentals. And if you don't want to understand the fundamentals, get Seeking Alpha Premium, because these guys do it for you with the quant. It says hold. The growth is what's causing this one to be a hold. Because if you look at it, it's the D. And when you go over here to growth, you can see revenue year over year, it's down 2%. The sector medium is plus 2%. If you look at the levered free cash flow, though, they're earning 30% more free cash flow. And that the sector medium is 3%. This is very good. That means going forward, this should be good. Dividend per share growth forward, A+ with their forward earnings. Now, the PEG is what Steve Kress wants. And when you look at the PEG, let's go over to valuation, because that's valuation. When you look at the PEG, this is the non-GAAP forward. The PEG, they're at 5.98. That is a negative, because the sector median is 1.34. The higher you go, I think the worse it is. It wants to be around 1, I think is the best. But that's not a very good PEG. Again, you're 347% above. That's the forward. So again, understand what these mean. This price PEG is, let's see, the PEG ratio, price to earnings growth rate, is evaluation, is calculated by forward non-GAAP ratio divided by earnings per share, minus 3 to 5 year CAGR, cost of average good revenue, between the price of a stock. Yeah, I can't see what that means, but go and Google PEG. I know it wants to be around 1. Let's look at this week. Tesla, Boeing, General Motors brace for earnings. We've got Volatility Watch, Snap, Summit, Therapeutics, SMMT, B. Riley. There's a lot of stuff this week. You can see this article in particular gives you every day what you want to look at. Let's see, on Tuesday, Earnings Watch, Tesla, PepsiCo, Texas Instruments, Philip Morris, Mattel, UPS, Lockheed Martin, General Motors. Then on Wednesday, we've got Meta, IBM, AT&T, Boeing, Chipotle, General Dynamics. Then on Thursday, you've got Microsoft, you've got Google, you've got Merck, you've got Caterpillar, Comcast, Intel. Then on Friday, you've got Exxon, you've got AbbVie, you've got Chevron, you've got Colgate-Palmolive. This article every Friday gives you such a good look at the next week. That's why I like it. Now, let's talk about NVIDIA and SMCI. I'm going to include some SMCI stuff, I think, in the newsletter. But this Katie Stockton provided great support levels after a 10% decline. The 50-day moving average was penetrated, putting next support level February's gap and Fibonacci retracement to 742, 752 area. If this support zone is taken out, a secondary Fibonacci level near 615 would frame intermediate long-term risk. So remember that, 742 to 752. Let's go look at NVIDIA and see where they are trading at. NVIDIA right here. And this is how you use these tools. You go back and forth. You find things that people publish, and you say, do I understand that? Yeah. 744, I said this was the support level right there. So she's identifying at 742. I said, hey, 744. 691. What'd she say? She said 615 would do the intermediate risk. So if we look at 615, that's way down here. I don't think you're getting to 615. I think if you penetrate this 744, I think you buy this stock. Again, I think NVIDIA is one that you want to buy on these dips. Will it go lower? Absolutely. There's a potential that it will go lower. Look at this weekly. You haven't even penetrated on the weekly, the 21-day. Now you have this big candle right here, a 14% period move. You have the MACD still high. May need some time to cool off. That's what these technicals tell you, is that, hey, there's some support here, But there's some reasons to be really worried from the long term, because from the long term, this had some support here at 400. And if we move this volume by price, if we move this to the beginning of May of last year, where it really started to move, where are most people holding? They're holding down here at 500. There is an enormous amount of people that are holding up here at 800. I don't think I bought at 800. I bought SMCI at 1,000, but I don't think I did here. But look at that one. That one right there. So you want to understand that you have some downside risk from the long term. Is it oversold in the short term? Yes. Do you want to time this? No. You want to make sure that the short term, the 9-day, the 21, are in an upward direction on a short-term market. The long term, the 200-day, is in a positive direction. The medium term on this short-term market, because remember, this is a 4-hour candlestick. So the medium term, the 50-day, is starting to turn negative. You could be looking at using this 200-day at 691 as the next support level if you break through this 744. Like I said, this gap right here is going to be, it might be penetrated. If it does, look for that gap to get filled, and you can buy on the way down. That's where I think you buy. Now, SMCI, we can go over here to Seeking Alpha, and we can type in SMCI. So you want to know what happened on Friday to SMCI? Well, it's perfect. There are 2 or 3, let's see. There is this Super Micro earnings preview, price for perfection, but Super Micro 4. Could change this, downgrade to hold. Goldman picks top CapEx from yesterday, R&D stocks. SMCI is mentioned. So the top 10 2023 CapEx, the top 10 2023 R&D. Where's SMCI in here? R&D basket, industrials, infotech. There we go. Infotech. This is Goldman CapEx R&D basket. Infotech, SMCI. It's down there. It's listed. So what this does, this is Seeking Alpha Premium. You can go look at this, and you can say semiconductors tumble. Supermicro plunges as fears crop up that AI bubble is bursting. This was all that happened on Friday, by the way. There's a bunch of analysis that happened. And Seeking Alpha News, let's see. I don't know. The only thing that happened on Friday, and I can tell you, there was an article published by Steve. It might be Alpha Picks. Alpha Picks members, if you got it, there's an article right here. Could no news be good news? The only thing that happened, you can read this if you're part of Alpha Picks. If you're not part of Alpha Picks, it's on my link tree. You want to beat the S&P. I mean, Alpha Picks is just amazing, amazing stuff. Look at the performance. It's 107% against 31%. I mean, just the analysis is fantastic. And this particular article, unbelievably good. But SMCI news came out that they will report on April 30th. And here's the earnings. So I thought it was that it was going to be 30th of this week. I guess maybe it's next week. But April 30th, they're coming out. Now, 7 of the last 8 times they announced the date of their earnings, they also announced that the earnings were going to be good. And so the one time they didn't, earnings were still good. There's no news. There's no news here. The news that they didn't report that it was good in the same press release that they did announce the date of their earnings, that's no news. No news is good news. No news isn't necessarily bad news. You had a 20% correction. Now, here's what the issue is. The algorithm got you out here. Now, the 4-hour algorithm, I trust it. It only makes you 548%. And I say only. That's over 2 years. This one, had you bought it 2 years ago, you're up 1,602%. That's a tremendous gain. So I am sitting here. My average purchase price, I think, is somewhere in the 280s. Because back here where I said this gap was going to get filled to 350, I was buying below it. The fundamentals justified it. So I was buying below it. So I've got a long way down. If you are like me, I did add at 1,000. I think it's average about 1,000. A couple of lots I added, I think it's around 1,000. I added up there. I am not concerned for the long term. If you wanted to take the losses, you can. You've got to wait 30 days to get back into this if this is a brokerage and you want to write off those losses. If it's in a retirement account, you can't write off those losses. I am not taking those losses. I am sitting there. I am probably going. I don't want to miss this. This could easily bounce back up to these levels because, and I say this with a little bit of, not necessarily knowing this for sure, but if I go and look at SMCI and I look at their valuation, it is not crazy. Look at the quant, okay? If they come out with the earnings that they've projected, or we can go and look at the earnings, the PEG right now forward 0.65. Now the sector median is 1.78, so they're trading under 63% under. Remember we looked at the PEG of Verizon? They were trading 500% over. This one's trading 63% under. Okay, it's the number one buy in information technology as far as the quant goes. If we go to the earnings and we go to the expectations, it is about the same. Look at the earnings consensus year over year, 103%, gain. This one, earnings per share year over year, 251%. That's not crazy. Remember, they took 2 rounds of stock. They sold 2 rounds of stock of a couple $1 billion in order to gain it. I think we're fine in this one long term. And that's what Alpha Picks point out. Long term, this one should be fine. So NVIDIA and SMCI, I'm not selling. I'm not getting out. Even if the bubble bursts, I still believe we have upside to this point. I will be buying more of SMCI. I'm just going to wait until I see some strength. Because look at this 5-minute chart. There is no strength on this 5-minute chart through Friday. There was no strength in this buy at all on Friday. Nothing told you to get into this one to buy this on Friday. The dip was big. Now, if you bought on Friday, say you bought at 750 because you started to see it level off. I think you're fine. I think you're okay. Say you bought you saw this one and you bought at 819. I've got a higher price. My average purchase price is much lower. I do think that you start to see these things move down. But until they start to move up, you can't buy the dip. You have to make sure that you understand you can buy this dip, but it needs momentum for you to buy it. And right now, your 50-day, moving negative. Your 200 still positive. Your 9-day, moving negative. Your 21-day, moving negative. So wait until momentum actually triggers you to buy it. Maybe you missed 10% of this move. Don't kick yourself in the butt for missing 10% of the move. Get the next 20. Maybe it goes up 10% and then goes back down 5%. The fundamentals just tell you that, hey, we should be fine. Now, I wanted to point this out because we looked at SPY before. TrendSpider posted this picture, and it's when worlds collide, and it's SPY. And if you pull back the price to the previous high on SPY of 479, we went over SPY a little bit. The anchored VWAP to the October 2023 low identifies that high as a resistance level. We're there right now. Could this take off? I don't know. I mean, SPY just seems like it's ready in the short term to take off, but I've pointed this out before. You go back to the long term. Yes, it's oversold. Yes, we have the 200-day right there. But when you go to the weekly and you take a look at this, it's still very high on the MACD. It's still very high on the RSI. I wanted to point this out because I don't think there's a time. Buying the dip doesn't mean timing the bottom. It means that you buy on the way down. And again, we're 7% off the all-time highs. Now, this was a great, you can't predict the stock market, but you can pick individual stocks. And this was a great, Peter Lynch, legendary investor. I want you to watch this Instagram. It is great. Bitcoin. TrendSpider posted this. 3 past Bitcoin halvings kickstarted massive runs for the asset. Will history repeat? Again, look at that chart. That chart is fantastic. Back 1 year, up 9,622%. 1 year, up 3,000%. And then in 2009, this was 2020, up 558% over 1 year. 1 year rally. So if you look at Bitcoin, we're at 65,000. I think Bitcoin, if you go over here to Seeking Alpha, we can find the chart for Bitcoin. BTC, US dollar, it's not covered by the quant, not covered by anything. You can read all about Bitcoin, what to know and how to profit. James Ford, who interviewed me, great interview, up 1 year, 137%. You're hanging around 66,000, get it under 70,000. If you believe in Bitcoin, you believe that halving is over, because again, that halving was an event. Remember, halving didn't mean that we're cutting Bitcoin in half. Halving meant that the miners like Mara, like Riot, like CleanSpark, they basically get half the Bitcoin that they were for the mining process. That's all that meant. That's all that meant. So you want to take a look at that one. Bitcoin halving event is over. This is a great article from Steve Kress, Magnificent 7 earnings preview. You can read it. He goes over all 7 of them. It is fantastic. Magnificent 7. I include Netflix, and I call it the Grade 8. That's the one that's missing here. I still think that Netflix is a buy on this dip, just not now. Has to show some strength. Now, the Magnificent 7, is it 5 or 7? This is a great podcast, and this is Seeking Alpha's podcast series. I will include the link to the Seeking Alpha portion, but you can just Google Seeking Alpha podcast on Apple or Spotify, and you can find it. Go and listen to Steve. Steve is great. He has a great listen. He is a fantastic speaker, incredibly intelligent about the market. I really like him. Now, Microsoft Q3 preview, focusing on Copilot. I did, and I wrote this in my, and I wrote the reasons why I bought it in the paid newsletter, but I bought Microsoft at about 402, 6 figures. Yeah, I put 6 figures in here at 402. Now, understand, this is not, oh my God, I think they're going to blow away earnings. Oh my God, I have some insider information. Oh my God, I've got some crazy stuff. This is just me buying here at around 402. I bought at 402. Did it go down? Yes, it's still down. If we look at the week, this is like every other stock chart in the market. We're high on the weekly. We're down here. RSI is at 53. Are we going to go? We're trading right now at 400. We closed at 399. On Friday last week, we went down to 397. Right after I bought it, it was still on its way down. Didn't show strength. I didn't time it. I just wanted to get in. This is very similar. If you guys know, I bought Amazon in June or July for their earnings last year. I have a very low average purchase price for Microsoft. And so what do I want to do? I want to up that purchase price for Microsoft. And when I looked at it, I don't think it's getting back down here to 350 where it double topped. I think it might get down here to about 370 or so. But I didn't want to wait and time it because their earnings are this week. We've had six days in a row of down. And remember, before you think that today's going to be up, we can go and we can look at some of the futures. Let's go to home here on Seeking Alpha. It is 920 right now. Futures are up, not 1%, but they're up. 0.69 on the NASDAQ, 0.58 on S&P. Dow is up 0.55. But I bought Microsoft at 402. Why? I said it before, buy it under 400. I didn't know on Friday it was going to get under 400. I didn't want to wait until Monday, which I thought might be a big catch-up. So I bought at 402. Do I care that it's 397 versus 402? It's money, and that 6 figures, it does add up to be a lot of money in that portion. I'll make it up. This is a stock that I believe in long term. Look at the trend long term. Now, the time to buy was absolutely back here in the 230s in November 2022 because you've almost doubled your money. And when I go and I look at Microsoft, I'm going to include a couple articles. Microsoft focusing on Copilot. Microsoft timely sell-off creates an attractive setup ahead of Q3 earnings. And if we go to Seeking Alpha and we look at Microsoft here and we look at the quant, it says hold. The reason it says hold is because the valuation is an F. Everything else is fine on this. And if we go to the valuation, we can see Steve's favorite thing is the forward peg. That is 2.47. Well, the sector median is trading significantly cheaper at 1.78. This is 38% above. You look at the PE, the forward PE is 34. The sector median is 22. This is trading number 8 out of 46 in information technology, system softwares. You look at the other ones, Monday, Checkpoint Software, Zuo, Trend Micro, Enable. You look at those. I don't know any of them. I do know Microsoft. And when I took a look at this, take a look at this one, I see the Qantas hold. I recognize it. And if you click on hold, you can see it's been a hold through this entire thing. This thing was a strong buy at 327 and then went to hold. And at 329, were you buying it? Because right now it's at 400 and it is showing some relative weakness right now. But when I took a look at the Wall Street and it said strong buy. Now there's 57 analysts that cover this. They have an average price target of 471. That's 18% above where it is today. Look at where this trades to its price target. Now, here in 2022, obviously, the price target was still high, and it came down over time, and then Microsoft chased it up, and then they started increasing it, and then they increased it again. Now, is this one going to chase it back up? I think so. This thing has not done anything for 10 years, and all of a sudden, the past couple of years, it has just blown it away. I think Satya Nadella, I think he's a great CEO. I think he knows what he's doing. So I decided to put more money into this, and this, again, is my number 2 or 3 holding. Number 1 is Apple. Number 2 or 3 is Microsoft or Amazon. One or the other. And I still believe in Amazon as well. I think you can buy Amazon as well. I think Amazon under the 180 is a fantastic buy. If we look at Amazon right now, it's not showing any strength either. Would you want to put money into this one? It double topped out at there at 188. I think it gets through there on the earnings. I think this pullback is an opportunity. I think the earnings come out very strong on this one. Doesn't mean that, higher for longer and a hot PCE number on Friday, because the key point is, and if I haven't brought this up, the Fed's favorite inflation indicator, PCE, is coming out on Friday morning at 8:30. That is going to be key. If that's above 2.7%, it's going to be huge. It's going to be basically a huge drag on the market. So that's Microsoft. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla price cuts go global. Cost of full self-driving slashed by a third. I did not buy full self-driving in my car. I would have been pissed had I paid $12,000 for full self-driving and they just reduced it down to $8,000. That's a huge price cut. In fact, a few years, 2018, when I bought my car, I think I paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000 for it. I like it. Full self-driving is fairly impressive. Is it ready for prime time? I don't think so. This is the key to this stock. Do we have any strength in this one? No. I have several friends who have just sold out of this one. I have many other friends who are still holding on to it. You are down 4%. There's a couple. Tesla skids 3% to a new 50-week, 2-week low on tap for Tuesday. You can read all about the earnings. This is all about what happens on Tuesday. We know the earnings are going to be crap. You can see if I go over here and I go to the earnings, we have reduced expectations. And the reason is because they didn't deliver enough cars. Look at that's down. Does this valuation mean that, hey, it's going to be a good thing? No. It's priced into the market that we're going to see downward. The question is just how bad. How bad is it going to be? The last earnings, they missed by 3 cents. Earnings per share gap actual beat by $1.66. Revenue, they missed by $596 million. That's a lot. And so there's a big concern on actual valuation of this. And the valuation is an F. And the reason it's an F, look at these numbers. Even the growth, they're trading at a PEG ratio of 6.38. That's 343% above what the market, the sector median is. So if you're going to buy Tesla and you're going to try and time this on earnings, I think you wait until earnings come. There's going to be a couple of things in my mind that are key. The first is margins. If they have significantly reduced margins, which we think they are, then I've said it before, I think we're coming back down to 100. I've said this is the last time that Tesla margins were in question. Now, the second thing that is going to be key is full self-driving. Now, they've reduced the price. They've gone down in price. They also reduced the price of the Model Y. And I believe the S and X as well was like $2,000 or something like that. They've reduced that price. They've basically gotten rid of all of the inventory discounts. So now they're just doing regular pricing. And it's still very affordable. I mean, remember, the Tesla Model Y is the number one selling vehicle, not electric vehicle, number one selling crossover vehicle in all of the U.S. So it's still a super pop. And I love my Model Y. I really do. I really like it. But I do think that you've got this 100 in focus. And there was an analyst on this morning who reduced his price target down to 85. This is a hated stock. Understand, momentum is a strong factor. This is still continuing on the way down. So this is not something that you want to time. This is not something that you want to try and say, okay, I'm going to get in. Tesla has always been one, in my mind, that you wait for the first 5 to 10% gain, and then you take the next 15 to 20. Because that's how bad this one moves. The robotaxi, if Elon does this earnings call the way he did last earnings call, you're going to see this at 100. They didn't provide guidance. They didn't provide anything. Now, Elon's taking this seriously. Obviously, I told you, he's got 35 executives reporting directly to him now. He postponed his trip to India, saying that he's got too much Tesla stuff on his plate. They are simplifying everything. They laid off 10% of the company, and it's back to hell week. And he's full self-driving is getting better and better. I completely agree that I think full self-driving is going to be one of the best tools out there. It will quickly be overcome. If there's I think it's called OpenAI or something like that. I've been watching videos on YouTube about it. There's a open source software that you can install on a car, any car that has cameras, and it drives itself. I saw it on Ford F-150s. I saw it put on Teslas, and it actually does what autopilot essentially does. Doesn't do what full self-driving does, but it does what autopilot does, and it's open source. And if you don't think that is free and it's coming to other vehicles, then you're crazy, because people will start putting this on cars. Now, Tesla's license fee is going to be huge. And so what's the benefit of Tesla over open source? Well, maybe they get some type of regulator. But Elon hasn't made himself kind to the regulators here, so who knows? Earnings week ahead. If you want to read this article, it's Tesla, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Intel, Exxon, and more. That's a great article to read just on the stuff. As far as core stock, the core portfolio, we've got Cleveland Cliffs coming up, I think today after the market, at market close. Yes. Today after the market closes, we have Cleveland Cliffs earnings. They're showing weakness. How'd they do on the last earnings? They killed it. So how do you want to position this one? I think they kill it again. That MACD is low enough. Now, where are you on the weekly? This is similar to every other chart. You're seeing a high MACD. It's crossing down. You're seeing the RSI at 55. It's in this range. I've said it before. It's in the upper part of this range. You've got a MACD, golden cross. You've got the Bollinger Band cinching up. If you think that materials are good, then maybe you get into this one. I think it's probably a $25 stock. I think this one might be a good earnings call. You got Pepsi, which is in the core portfolio, and a quant pick. Pepsi is pre-market tomorrow. I think this one from a weekly standpoint has shown some weakness from a near term. Look at that, 170 to 174 in the last few days while the market is down. This one has shown strength. You got a golden cross here. 174, not crazy. Look at that trend, that long-term trend that was bucked. This is GLP-1. In fact, I've got a news article next, 13 new obesity drugs you can look at. But look at this one. This one it has just stalled out of this upward trend, and you may have an opportunity to get back here. The all-time highs, 195, 196. Their earnings are coming up. Meta earnings are coming up on Tuesday. I'm sorry, on Wednesday. Wednesday after the bell. Meta is down at 487. I think Meta, if you didn't see the AI news, that they released some AI where it can actually create a picture in real time as you're typing. Huge. And it's open sourced, and they're integrating Google into this. Google and Meta are actually partnering up. That's some pretty good stuff. Everybody hates Apple, so they want to go against Apple. So Meta's decided to go in with Google. Meta's not a friend of Apple. Interesting. I think Meta's got some eyeballs on them. I think the TikTok ban could benefit Meta. It's up 1%, 1.5%. I think getting back to that 500 is not going to be hard with their earnings, but how much are they actually spending on AI? Remember, he went all in on the metaverse. He's out of the metaverse now. He's buying every NVIDIA chip you can find. This is a great, well-run company. He's got his eye on the prize. Google is coming up on Thursday after the bell. I like this one. I like the email that Sundar just sent out. Sundar Pichai, their CEO, the email that he sent out that said, we are a workplace. We are taking, if you protest during work hours and disrupt work, you will be held accountable. And they were fired. Great. That's taking the culture back. If you talk to any of the ex-Googlers, they will tell you culture is taking over this company. Sundar looks like he's taking it back, and probably Larry and Sergey are probably on board with that. That is good news. If he's sending out an email like that, that is good news. Microsoft is coming up with earnings. You guys know I bought it 402. It's trading at 400 right now. If you can get this under 400, great. If you can just time it and get it at 402, great. If you can get it 394, 395, fantastic. Remember, the market it looks like it's up right now, but it was up every day last week in the open, and it couldn't hold those gains. We've got Exxon coming up with earnings this week on Friday. Here we go. Exxon. Ooh, I don't know if that showed up. Exxon at 118. This one could break out. With the price of oil, remember, everything's priced in the market, so they shouldn't surprise here. There should be no huge surprise on Friday. But short term, you got a nice MACD down there. You got an RSI at 50. You've got a forward-moving 200-day that's positive. Look at that golden cross that happened here. And the stock was trading at 104, 105. Boy, that's a nice move with a golden cross. Do you have some rebound here? Look, it's in an upward trajectory. I mean, that 200 days moving positive on the weekly. The 50 days just kind of moved just sideways. But the 9 and the 21 are still moving up. You got that all-time high right there. It's double topped it. We're right at about 119. You're trading right there. If you break out, if this is the earnings that continues to break out, that's probably pretty good. You got PayPal coming up with earnings. You got Amazon coming up with earnings. So you've gotten a lot. There is an article on Seeking Alpha that I think you should read. 13 new obesity drugs that could hit the market by 2029. Surging demand. Remember, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are the two that actually have weight loss drugs out there. GE Healthcare. Novo Nordisk is developing a peripheral-focused ultrasound therapy with GE Healthcare. GE Healthcare is a buy, in my opinion, if you're in the healthcare space. Viking Therapeutics, we went over that one. That one's on my watch list in TrendSpider. It got a cross up today. If you want this one, it's a 0.61. We'll take a look at that chart in a little bit. But yeah, these are 13 companies that can have a GLP-1. So if you want to read about that one, that's a great one. Let's look at social repress. James, if you don't mind, check out EDGIO. Let me see. What is EDGIO? GIO. Edio? Let's see. I really expected to have a comeback of a half decent degree, but I think I got sucked into the hope and it just pulled me down. Now I'm sitting and hoping for some kind of recovery to sell at a lower price. EDGIO. I don't know what they do. This stock chart looks ugly. It just looks ugly. Let's take a look at a weekly. I can kind of tell you where we're going on a weekly. Do you want to time the bottom? It's got a reverse split, 1 for 40. I mean, that right there is a ringing bell. Do not invest in this. A reverse split says do not invest in this. EDGIO. Let's go look at FinViz. EDGIO. EDGIO. I guess it's EGIO. They ain't making money. They're losing $153 million. They have $4.72 per share. That's not a lot of money. That's $20 million, and you're losing $153 million, and you just reverse split in order to keep your listing. You're gonna get diluted. November 22. Don't look at that price target. That's from 2022. $22 is from 2022. This is a content delivery network. It include digital content and video delivery, cloud security. No, there's so many other good companies out there. Let's look at it in Seeking Alpha. I would get out of this one. Honest to God. I mean, this just makes no sense to stay in here. EGIO. Let's see. It was just up there. EGIO. There we go. Let's look. Quant has it as a hold. I don't know why the quant even covers it. Valuation is an A-. Growth is an A+. Profitability D. Momentum C. I mean, ranked 21 out of 25. What's number one? Is it GigaCloud? Data storage company, Crescendo, Okta. You've got so many. Twilio. So there are Okta and Twilio are both alpha picks. Why would you be in this one when you've got alpha picks up there? Snowflake is in this list. Cloudflare is in this list. Shopify is in this list. Akamai is in this list. There are so many other ones. Fastly is in this list. So many other ones above that one. No reason to stay in this one, James. I mean, you could go up, but with that valuation, I mean, I see a little bit of pump there. Look, that's a 39% candle in a week. That is volatility that you don't want to be in. You want to trade it on a 5-minute. You don't want to hold. Okay, let's talk about some scans. Bank of America. This one gets a cross up here. Is this one a buy in the 4-hour? The 4-hour thinks so. I think it's currently on a run. I said last week that I thought I held it. I do hold it in an IRA that my parents have. But Bank of America, let's just run this. Bank of America, let's see if they run the 4-hour. There we go. 37.01. You're trading right there. 37.01. Do we have more room to run? When you take a look at a weekly of Bank of America, it looks like it's got more room to run. The algorithm on this one, by the way, makes you 24% versus losing 6% over 2 years. So you want to listen to it. You want to listen. The 50-day on the weekly just started to move positive. You've just broken above your 200-day, which is at 34. Buy it at 36. I think this one's probably a $40 stock. I like this one. Bank of America. If you are interested in the energy space, MPLX is my pick. It's in the core portfolio. This is an 8-9% dividend. $40.67 right here. You've got an upward trajectory. The MACD is well below the oscillator. The RSI, 48. Nothing crazy. You've got your earnings coming up. It looks like on April 29th. I like this one. Target. I own Target. I think this is a $170 stock again. It's at 167. Is it crazy to buy Target at 167, 168? I think that 171 right there, it provides some level of resistance. If we look at the weekly, I believe that's where the weekly goes. Yep. Look at that resistance, okay? Do you want to buy at 167? I think with their earnings coming up on May 20th, later in May, I think it's probably something that does well. You know, the consumer is still strong. Target just had, I just saw an ad with Taylor Swift in Target. How the hell does that not, be good? I mean, that's great. That's fantastic. Mara, we talked about the miners with the halving. Mara is one that is, they're pressure washing my neighbor's house. Mara, 1649. This one, I'd probably wait on this one. The halving, it was not good for the miners. And this one on a long term, I've said it before, it's a $10 stock. I thought it got pumped up here. I am still holding this one at about 26. I will continue to hold this one because it's a long-term buy. I want some exposure to the miners. I probably should have just bought a Bitcoin ETF like BITS. This is Bitcoin, Global X Bitcoin, blockchain and Bitcoin strategy ETF. This one is in the crypto list and TrendSpider, 6202. You're trading right at 6202. So if you want that one, Energy Transfer, Boyle, XLF and XLU. XLF got a cross up. If we look at XLF, this is the financials. There were four in this list that are particularly good. This is sectors, XLF, XLU, and XLV. The fourth is BRK.B. And this one, the financials, had a nice little pullback here. You pulled back almost to the 200-day, but you've started to move positive. Your 50-day is still moving negative. Here at $440.39, look at how low that MACD is. Doesn't mean that you're going to automatically go higher. Higher for longer is hurt, but the bank earnings have been good. Now, BRK.B, this is a buy whenever you have money that you want to put in. I've identified this as a range. Boy, look at how well that range tried right here at 398. BRK.B under 400 at 406. Just buy it and hold it. Just buy it and hold it. Long term, this is a solid gainer. You're still fine. Still moving positive on your 50-day. Your VWAP right there at 362, that is the previous high. It's just broken out. You're probably going to another high. Royal Caribbean is one that I've wanted to get into. This is a alpha pick. This one looks like it's a buy right now. Look at this. We're right at that 200-day, 129.19. You're trading at 130. MACD is down below. If you want to buy the dip on this one, this might be the opportunity. If you look at the weekly on this one and you go back to Seeking Alpha, it's a strong buy. If we go and look at Royal Caribbean here, it's still a strong buy. I think it might be a strong buy still. Yes, the valuation is a C-. That's the only reason. It's a C-, just because of these EV sales. You can read about enterprise value to sales. You can't get on a cruise. Who are you kidding? You can't get on a cruise. There are a ton of scans that crossed up. In fact, we're going to look at this one. Triple levered ETF on the Dow. Ultra Pro on the Dow. It's got a cross up. Are we heading into a week where we see the cross up? 73.49. You're trading at 73.86. You have confirmation. Again, that 50 days moving down, so you have to be nervous. You've got a gap up here at 76. You could fill that gap. It's a nice 5% move. You got your MACD down here crossing up. UDOW. UDOW. This is a triple levered ETF on the Dow. Maybe you want to do that. FAS, which is a triple levered on the financial, triple levered bull on the financials. FAS. This one. Same kind of thing, 97, 96, MACD crossing up, down. Your RSI is at 48. Remember, you want to look at this stuff. If these indicate, FAS, just to give you a for instance, FAS, why you want to listen to it. FAS on the 4-hour algorithm, it makes you 108% on 22 positions over 24 months. You know, if you just bought and held FAS 24 months ago, you lost 11%. It's a decaying asset. You don't want to hold on to it, but you want to listen to the algorithm. DPST. This is the regional bank triple levered ETF. We talked about this one. This range right here. This is the range that I think it trades in. Now, DPST, you lose 46%. But if you bought and held the ETF, you've lost 83%. The reason is because of that big downturn last year. When Silicon Valley Bank tanked, it was around this time. And you continued down. Now you've continued back up, but this 64 may be going to 81. Maybe we go on a run with the regional banks. Could be. TMF. If we look at TMF. TMF is 20-year bull 3 times on the 20-year treasury. On the 20-year treasury. This is bonds. 45.16. I don't like bonds. But this is a triple levered ETF bull on the bonds. So if bonds start going up, this one's going to triple lever for bonds going up. You can see bonds have been going down. Not the rates, but the actual value of bonds have been going down. So take a look at that. Again, if you want my 4-hour algorithm, it's in TrendSpider. TrendSpider's having a sale for one more day, $639 for 12 months. If you don't think that the $639 is too much to spend on a charting program, that includes a 4-hour algorithm, that includes a 65-minute algorithm, that includes custom watch lists, that includes custom scanners. Everything you see me do with the charts in this podcast, it's all there. It's all there for you to use. $53.32 a month. If you want the monthly, it's $149. Try it out. One day left on this sale. If you want Seeking Alpha Premium, that's another one. And all of these, by the way, are on the link tree, linktr.ee/dailystockpick. 20% off your membership. It's $189. If you want Alpha Picks, if you want to read about that SMCI, why it went down, where Alpha Picks thinks that it's going, when Alpha Picks is going to sell it, because it's 2 data-driven stocks every month. The most recent one was GCT. GCT, I put a bunch of money into it. I think we're still good on GCT. Let's take a look at the live chart of GCT. Because it was down on Friday. I think it was down 3%. It's down 1.12%. It's about where I bought it. I think I bought it at 32.33. It's at 34.30. Alpha Picks portfolio picked it at about $30 when you could have bought it. That's when they picked it. Yeah, it's up here. I think it's going to continue up. You can see the move there. The trend line from the October lows, the December lows. Looks like November, December. But yeah, if you bought this at $9.59 and it continued to move up, boy, you're doing well. Look at the weekly on this one. The weekly is just kind of, we still have confirmation on that. So if you want Alpha Picks and you want to read all about that, subscribe using the link tree. If you have any questions, you can hit me up. I got my email up here. I've got Facebook group. I've got X, Twitter, Vase, whatever, Spotify link, everything that you need. If you want Visible phone service, Visible service is just it's my mobile phone. If you want a Tesla, I think the referral program ends. They're going to start a new one, AT&T referral program. If you want to follow my trades, it's on Savvy Trader. Anything that you have a question on, hit me up. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. Boy, that was like an hour and a half, I think. Morning, Stephanie. Morning, Scott. Morning, Larry. Morning, Mike. Duolingo. I'm not a huge fan of Duolingo. I am a huge fan of Brad Freeman, covers that, Stock Market Nerd. And so, Mike, I think you'd want to ask him, and he would probably tell you, just buy it whenever. I don't know that he's necessarily been adding to it, but I think he just buys it. Oh, they're painting the house next door. Yeah, Duolingo. I mean, you've got some type of support right there at 184. So you got a nice, look at, if we pull this back, let's pull this back to where the last time it was up in this area. So the last time it was up is 2021. So it might be a little bit far back, but you can see the volume is starting to trend out here. If you break that 20, you've broken down below it, but if you break 200, 164 is in the mess right there. But Duolingo, I think it's still a Verizon slipped. God. Nothing can hold on. It's a hold in the quant. So Duolingo, I don't think it's bad. I'm bear shorting till the 26th as big results coming. Meta, Trump fan club. I don't think you're wrong. I just think those companies that you named, I don't know that all of them report bad. Verizon reported good earnings. But let's see. What's the market doing? Let's see. Market has lost its... God, NASDAQ is down 2%. NASDAQ's just tanked. Let's see. Is NASDAQ really down 2%? I got a lot of green. SQQQ. Maybe the data on TrendSpider isn't right. No, the NASDAQ QQQ is up 0.82. Oh, that's still, okay. It's still from Friday. That's what it is. I don't know why that's not updated, but it's not. It does look like we're up. Morning, Q. Trump fan club. I think the Bears are in control. I would say don't count on it. And I wouldn't think those results. I think results this week have much less to do with the overall market than Friday's the PCE, the inflation data. I think that PCE number is going to be key. If that PCE number comes in under 2.7 or at 2.7, you're taking off. And the reason Trump fan club is, I think, politically Powell and the Fed will do at least one rate decrease in either June or July. And I think that's when the markets take off again for a second leg. If you look at this SPY, and if you were here early, you'd know. I don't think you were here early, but if you were, you'd know. I think that this 479 provides us pretty significant support in the liftoff because the 50-day is still moving positive, but that MACD on the weekly here it's trolling down. But what I really like is that RSP has started to change. I mean, you're seeing support in RSP. It's starting to get that 9-day starting to move positive. So I don't know where you got the 26th, unless that's the inflation data and you think it's going to turn out positive. But I don't have a lot of hope that PCE comes in super light. I think there's still some lagging data in housing and insurance. Those are the two. And I think those two you get screwed on. So I am going to go do this newsletter. That was a long podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm here. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I do think Cleveland Cliffs, by the way, I like the way this one's setting up. Boy, I like the way this one's setting up. I was going to say, I didn't think NASDAQ was down 2%. I was seeing too much green. That would have been a huge move. Something would have happened. Here are the earnings for Cleveland Cliffs. Significantly increase. Earnings per share year over year, 1.35%. Consensus, 22 cents, whereas it was minus 5 cents last time. Consensus minus 5 cents. So, but I do think Cleveland Cliffs sets up nicely because if for some reason, some reason, they come out and say, you know, hey, we're going to buy U.S. Steel, and we've gotten approved to buy U.S. Steel, or something happens here. Here, let's go over here and let's go to the Wall Street. Wall Street says hold. Seeking Alpha analysts say buy. 3% upside with the average price target 21.50. 10 analysts cover it. It's just gotten to a hold. It was a buy back here at 20, and it got to a hold, even though it went up and kind of came back down. You can see kind of hugs that consensus over 5 years. So, I don't know. May provide a nice little analyst rating history. You can see score 3.8. It's a hold. Recommendations If we go and look at Seeking Alpha Analyst, Hold, do they give what the bulls and bears? I think they say it on the summary. Let me see. The summary. Here's the seasonality. April 44% win, 30%. So maybe you don't want to buy it going into May. Bulls, Cleveland Cliffs reaps the benefits of a vertical model, aligns with unions, keen eye for capital allocation with pricing power over essential product. Yes, despite the existing risks in terms of pricing and cyclicality, I think Cliffs has more reason for margin growth. There's no bears on this. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I do think that this, the expectation is big. Earnings revision, what does it get in the quant? Revisions D-. Let's see why. Consensus revisions. Not great. Yeah. Oh, biggest movers today. What's UNH doing? UNH 494, Cardinal Health. This might be a buying opportunity for Cardinal Health. Oh, got you in at 108. I like this at 102. Let's see how the weekly looks. Still got strength. Okay.